Hi guys, it's Mrs. Warner here, ready for exciting lesson number 4 on linear equations. Today we're going to do some parallel and perpendicular lines, which you explored back in geometry and earlier this year. Okay, to start off, we all know that parallel lines have the same slope. So if the line is y equals 3x plus 2, and the line is y equals 3x minus 6, because they both have the same exact slope of 3, the two lines are parallel. That was fun. They have the same slope. Parallel is this symbol, if you remember from before. Now, if lines are perpendicular, their slopes are negative reciprocals. Okay, now that's a little bit confusing. First of all, negative means that if it is negative, the opposite of it is going to be a positive. And if it's positive, the opposite of it's going to be negative. And reciprocal means examples like this. If it's y equals 1/2 x plus 2, we're going to look at this slope that's 1/2, and we're going to take that slope, we're going to change its sign. So instead of being positive, it's now negative, and we're going to flip the fraction. So now it's negative 2/1, or just negative 2x, and we could put like a minus 6 back there. We don't care what the y-intercept is, as long as the slope is the reciprocal of its original and its sign is opposite. Those lines are going to be perpendicular. Okay, let's look at the first one. It says verify these graphs are either parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So if you look at the first example, we got 2x plus 3y equals 7. And I have 4x plus 6y equals 11. Now the problem with these is they're not in the right form, and I can't see what the exact slope is right off the bat. So I'm going to take and subtract 2x to the other side first. So I have 3y equals negative 2x plus 7. I'm going to divide everybody by 3, and I don't really care what that y-intercept back there is, as long as I know m is negative 2/3. Now I'm going to take this guy and solve. I'm going to subtract 4x to the other side, so 6y, oh, my Chromie's frozen, bad internet, equals, oh, I'm frozen again. Look at that. Equals negative 4x. Oh my, this is really frozen. Plus 11. And then I would divide by the 6 on both sides. This is coming out really bad. Sorry, guys, the internet's acting up. So that means my m, even though it doesn't look like it, I could take this m and divide each of these fractions by 2. So it'd be negative 2/3. And now see, the m of this and the slope of this equation are the same. So the lines are parallel. They had the same slope. All right, now our next example says, again, look to see if they're parallel, perpendicular, and neither. So 8x minus 12y equals 3. I got to solve this, guys, so I'm going to subtract 8x over. So I have 12y equals negative 8x plus 3. I'm going to divide by 12 on everybody. So my m is really, I'm going to simplify this fraction. Negative, I'm going to divide everybody by 4, so it's 2/3. Okay, similar to what we had before. I've got 3x plus 2y equals 2 for my other equation. Move my 3x over to the other side. 2y equals negative 3x plus 2. Divide everybody by 2. So your m is negative 3/2. Do I have a boo-boo? Oh, that's a minus 12. So when I divide by negative 12 over here, that's a positive. Bad teacher. I messed up that sign. Okay, so now look how this is positive 2/3 and this is negative 3/2. Their slopes are opposite signs and flip side upside down. So these are perpendicular lines because their slopes are negative reciprocals. That was fun. Okay, now the next two questions are similar to ones on your homework. It says find an equation of a line that contains the point 1, 4 and is going to be parallel to x plus 2y equals 5. Well, the first thing I need to do is solve this for y equals. So I'm going to move x to the other side. 2y equals negative x plus 5. Divide by 2. And now I know my m is really negative 1/2. Now, I'm going to keep that the same slope because it wants a line parallel. My x1 is 1 and my y1 is 4. That's because it has to go through the point 1, 4. I'm now going to take my point slope form, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, and I'm going to fill in my equations that I know. Y minus 4 is equal to negative 1/2. Keep that slope the same as what it was in the other equation. X minus 1, because that's my x1. And this is my equation. Now, I'm going to leave it in point slope form because the question just says find the equation of a line. I don't need to carry that through to y equals mx plus b form. Point slope form, perfectly fine. Let's try our last example. Same idea. We're going to go through the point -1, -2. So x1 is -1 and y1 is -2. But this time it has to be perpendicular. So I need to find the slope that's going to be perpendicular to 2x minus y equals 6. Well, I'm going to have to subtract 2x to the other side. Negative y is negative 2x plus 6. And divide everybody by a negative so that this turns into positive 2x minus 6. Now, take the m that's here, change its sign so it's now negative, and we're going to flip that fraction. Now, if it's 2 over 1 as it is, to make it a reciprocal, it's now negative 1 over 2. So my new slope is negative 1/2. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Use that point slope form from lesson 3 and fill in our variables. Instead of -2, it's now y plus 2 equals negative 1/2, because remember, I had to flip and negate that slope, and then it's x, take that -1 and turn it into plus 1. There we go. Leave it in point slope form, and that's it. Well, that concludes that exciting lesson on parallel and perpendicular lines, everyone. Today is actually Easter, and I just ate a lot of candy. I hope you guys had a good holiday, and I'll see you next week. That's our only lesson for this week. Bye now.